Well, good evening. Before I even give the title and read the blurb for today's video, I just want to say thank you to all the people who have sent prayers and good wishes to the family of Brian Tilford. Brian was part of the band that my son is in, the main band, the Brevard Busking Coalition. Brian, before he even became a member of the band, was a prolific songwriter, over 300 songs, 11 albums of his music, which I wasn't really aware of till today. But he died apparently of a heart attack sometime in the morning, the night before last. They found him in the mid-afternoon, mid to late afternoon yesterday, when he didn't show up for his gig. He had never missed a gig before, and they couldn't reach him. They went to his house and found him on the floor between the bathroom and the hall, and he was cold. They suspect he was dead for at least 12 hours at that point in time. Anyway, he was 54 years old, and today the Buskers did their second gig without him. This time, of course, they knew he was not with us anymore. The other time we were unsure. But many of you sent well wishes and stuff like that. And the gig this afternoon, which was actually at Brian's church, the Unity Church of Melbourne, Florida, and one of their Evolve celebrations. And he was honored for his accomplishments. He was part of the choir and part of the music ministry there at Unity Church. So thank you again, those of you that sent well wishes and condolences to his family and his friends. He will be missed, but the Buskers, I believe, have determined that they will make whatever adjustments they need to make to continue to do their music. It's their passion, and I just wish I just wish them the best. Anyway, I've just spent 2.5 minutes not even getting into the topic for today. Some of you will complain about that, but that's your problem. The title for today is, "But I was only following orders." This quotation was sent to me by a YouTube subscriber without a source. Quote, "The order follower always bears more moral culpability than the order giver, because the order follower is the one who actually performed the action, and in taking such action actually brought the resultant harm into physical manifestation. Order following is the pathway to every form of evil and chaos in our world. It should never be seen as a virtue by anyone who considers themselves a moral human being. Order followers have ultimately been personally responsible and morally culpable for every form of slavery and every single totalitarian regime that has ever existed upon the face of the earth." End quote. Here's one more quote for today's video. "Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities." I do know the source of that one. It was Voltaire. And I did look up to see what I could Google and find out about the other quote. I did not get the name of an individual. It is actually from the Yahoo page, and someone asked, "Why do police act like following orders is a virtue?" And that was given as the best answer, which I think it's an excellent answer, and it's certainly one that everyone in law enforcement or military should be very, very aware of. In fact, if you have friends that are part of the military or part of law enforcement, I would highly suggest that you share this with them, because this is an excellent answer. You know, we can say that the psychopaths are responsible for all the evil. When I say psychopaths, I'm talking about the psychopathic establishment and the rulers of that establishment. The CEOs, the presidents, the ones with titles, you know. that think that they have the right to dominate others and give orders. If they couldn't find people that were willing to carry out their orders, nothing they do would have any effect whatsoever. But people are very quick often to sell our souls and to sell our consciousness and to sell our being to these so-called authority figures and do their bidding for a price. We've got to get rid of this mercenary aspect one way or another, that we pay people to commit atrocities and crimes against humanity. All of these crimes, I agree with whoever made that comment, all of these crimes are the actual evil. And it's the people that do them, the little people that are only following orders. Those are the ones that are responsible for bringing chaos to the planet. Those are the ones that are responsible for enforcing the sick, perverted, sociopathic, psychopathic will of individuals who want to rule the world. Our ego, out of control, disconnected from reality, teaching and believing absurdities that any individual anywhere in the universe could ever do anything that does not affect everything. The disconnection, the illusion and delusion that we are separate is at the root cause of all of this. And it's in you, it's in me, and it's in everybody. Because it's in creation. And we are part of creation. And if you understand creation and the principles of the holographic universe, whatever is contained in one thing is contained in all things. And whatever is contained in the macrocosm is also in the microcosm. Okay? That's the reality of this holographic universe that we live in. No one is separate. No one can be separate. Only the deluded and the delusional think that they can be separate from everything else. That is simply not reality. And as that truth sinks in to our conscious awareness, then we will transform our experience as physical beings in whatever world we exist on, whether it's Earth or someplace else. We will transform that, but we will never transform it until we take full responsibility for our own being, recognizing the importance of knowing who we are in the web of life, connected to and part of this gigantic creation that Prime Source created at the beginning. And someone posted earlier today the third thing of, I don't have it on I'm not going to look for it, but the third thing that Mark Passio says in the New Age Delusions, and it was, we are all one, therefore everything is as it should be. Well, the we are all one is absolutely the truth. There is nothing separate. There can be nothing separate in reality. That is literal truth. I don't believe that only people that just look at a piece of it can ever argue for another point of view there. But that everything is all right is insane. Everything is the way it's supposed to be, that's insane. That's New Age control bullshit that keeps you from doing anything to make the world better and taking responsibility for what's happening in the world. And when you don't take responsibility for what's happening around you, you are easily influenced in committing atrocities. Because after all, I'm only following orders. Now we know from the Nuremberg trials following the Second World War that those peons that committed the atrocities, that put people into the incinerators and put people into the mass graves and did all the things that were done in Nazi Germany, we know that they were not given any excuse. You know, even as a soldier, I was told that we do not have a responsibility to follow an unjust order. But we don't even know. We're so brainwashed and dumbed down that we don't even know what unjust orders are. An unjust order is any order that violates the free will of another without their consent. Without their consent. Law enforcement, you need to hear this. Soldiers, you need to hear this. Anybody that works for a corporation, you need to hear this. You are not required to produce poison and to put fluoride in drinking water and to spray chemtrails in the skies. You are not required to do fracking and other things that cause destruction and cause harm to life itself. You are not required, and when you do so, you are the guilty party. You are the one that's carrying out an unlawful order. You are the one, you are accountable, you are responsible. I'm not letting the people off the hook that give the orders, but if they didn't find people that were willing to take the orders and follow them through, they wouldn't have any way to make their creation happen on the earth for us to experience the really dark, dark side, would they? It's only little people that don't have a clue who they are, that take these orders and they run with them and they abuse. Now, I had it happen to me. I was assaulted in my own house by a Brevard County Sheriff's deputy who was clueless as to his responsibility to the law. Clueless. He was just following orders. He didn't read me my rights. He didn't have a warrant for my arrest. And he assaulted me in my own house, cuffed me, took me to jail for a few hours on what was it, May the 25th, 2012? Some of you that have been listening for a long time know that story. But this happens every day by people that just follow orders. Orders that if we would just educate ourselves and each other and say you can't follow an unjust order. You can't violate somebody else's free will. You just can't do it. You're breaking moral law. You're breaking universal law. You're breaking natural law. You're breaking common law. Everything that is true law, you're breaking it. And you're a lawbreaker. And even if you wear a badge and a uniform and are armed to the teeth with a SWAT, as a SWAT member of a SWAT team or something like that, you are breaking the law. You are not on the side of justice. You are not on the side of good. Our governments lied to us. They have told us absurdities, that they are the authority. There is no justifiable authority that does not come from the people. The consent of the governed is the essential element in any leadership structure. Any leadership structure that does not serve those under it is an illegal, unlawful, and criminally oriented structure. And those people are accountable too. But if they didn't find people underneath that were willing to sell out for a price to do their dirty work, they would not be able to accomplish a damn thing. And their plans for world domination would fall flat. Because who's going to enforce it if we can't get the people to do it? These people that give the orders are generally cowards. They lack creativity. They lack vision. They have been totally abused. That's why they think they can order the abuse of others, because they have been abused in their upbringing. This is how the elite establishment treats its own children. They are a ring of pedophiles. I'm talking about royal families. I'm talking about people that sit in high offices. They commit crimes with impunity because we've allowed a system to exist where a corporate veil protects criminals from accountability and from justice. And this has to stop. This cannot continue. There is no excuse, but I was only following orders. That is an invalid excuse. It doesn't hold water in the weight of real justice, of truth, of law, of anything that's decent. It holds no weight. It is an excuse without merit. And it's time that we recognize this. It's time that we took back our world. I praise the people that were in Nevada that stood up to the to the feds that were moving in, trying to take the land from the Bundy family that's been 3 generations in his family, that they've had grazing rights on this land. They've been trying to take the water rights. I'm so glad to see a victory on behalf of the people when the state, the criminal state, backed down. I want you to understand that people that are in government that think they're authorities and they give you orders, they are criminals. If you work for a corporation that's building weapons, you're a criminal. And that's a lot of people in my area because there's an awful lot of military-industrial complex. I mean, that's the biggest employment in the entire area and county that I live in. It's almost all military-industrial complex, those that aren't in the service industries and restaurants and things like that. And every one of you is committing crimes against humanity just because you're working for a corporation that produces weapons that destroy people and property without lawful justification. There can't even be lawful justification. The only lawful justification for any military intervention or any police action is when people are violating the rights of another and the police or military step in to protect the rights of the people. Corporations have no rights. They are legal fictions. They are lies. They are built on a fabric of lies and of half-truths and misstatements and propaganda, absurdities. And we have been forced into believing absurdities, which is why humans have been hoodwinked into committing atrocities, crimes against life itself, crimes against each other. Now, the karma is going to increase. It's going to get much faster. And you that continue to commit these crimes, you that continue to follow orders of these insane people, because they have no power if you don't act on their behalf. Their power is in you acting on their behalf. That's the only power they have, because they're cowards. They will not act on their own. They cannot. They get other people to do their dirty work for them. That's the way it works in our world. You need to be aware of that. You are responsible for that. I'm telling you the truth. Look at it. Think about it. Weigh it in your heart and soul. It's time to rise up. It's time to tell the government, back down. It's time to tell the corporations, back off. It's time to tell these things, we're not going to play your sick game anymore. We need to wake each other up. This is the awakening. This is the time that everything is being brought from the underworld into our conscious awareness. Everything that's been hidden from us. This is the apocalypse. That which has been hidden is now being revealed. It's the revelation of the truth. I'm telling you the truth. This is the world that we've been living in. What are you going to do about it? You can't use the excuse, but I was only following orders. There is no price worth paying to commit a crime against humanity. And it's time that ordinary people like you and me stop committing the crimes because somebody told us to, because somebody sold us on an idea that is absurd, that anyone can have authority over anyone else and violate natural law. No one can. It's always a crime. Thank you for listening. Namaste.